Coach O'Connell, the 2023 Vikings schedule is out. How much do you look forward to this day?
You know what? I tend to look forward to it more now than when I was a position coach or coordinator, because so much goes into the planning of even training camp and how we work backwards from that first game. But you immediately start to visualize the game weeks. Hey, we're playing this defense or this offense that week, and what does that quarter of the season look like? What does the middle of the season look like? Where's the bye? All those things that as the head coach now I have to be responsible for, not only knowing but planning to kind of make things as smooth and as good of a situation for our players as we can.
Well, speaking of right out of the gate, they're giving you a little bit of a conundrum, right? You start with a home game against the Bucs, and then 4 days later you play the Eagles. What's that going to be like to plan for your team?
Yeah, you basically have to obviously put a ton into the opener. Really good football team, but get to open up at US Bank Stadium. We got to do it a year ago, and what a day that was against the Packers. So hopefully we can replicate that performance, and I know our fans will replicate that environment that we had. But you're right, we almost have to have a little bit of a mindset long before the opener week starts of how we're going to handle not only that game, but then the transition right into a Thursday game at Philadelphia. Really good football team on the road again in prime time. I'm sure that place will be rocking, and what a challenge for our team.
Recently, you said that you look for the division games first when you check out the schedule. So you've got Chicago right out of the gate in week 6. So division really doesn't get going until a month into the season.
Yeah, it's really something. We don't play a team like Detroit until Christmas Eve, and then we see them 2 weeks later to finish the season. Like seeing that mid-season trip to Lambeau as well. Before it got too cold there. But, I think the schedule sets up great in the division. It'll be ultra competitive. We know that. But, knowing going into it, regardless of when, where, what, and all that, we get 3 of them for sure at US Bank Stadium, and those division games are always rocking.
A couple of them are primetime games as well.
Yeah.
5 primetime games on the schedule, which hasn't been something for the Vikings in a few seasons. What do you like or dislike about knowing that you're going to be a primetime game?
Yeah, I love the fact that the league, really rewarded us with those 5 primetime games. We got another, 325 start at home, against the Chiefs. So I really look at it like 6 national TV opportunities to put our best out there. You're going to be playing a really good opponent when you get those games. And like I said, thinking back to last year, whether it was Thanksgiving or some of those primetime games at US Bank Stadium, the type of environment that we have here, it just means a little bit more to us knowing that our fans are really rewarded for that. And not only our fans here locally, but our fans all over the country, where they are guaranteed that they can turn their TV set on no matter where they are and see their Vikings play.
And then I also had to take a look at the bye week. Obviously, nice to take a break, give your players the rest they need and deserve. Week 13, much later than last season. What are the benefits, or maybe even the other side, the cons of having a late week bye?
No, I don't think there's really any downside to it. Knowing, the 17-game season, it can be a grind at times, but we've got a plan. We've got a plan for what those practice weeks look like through that kind of 10-game stretch. After that Thursday week 2 game against the Eagles, we'll give our guys a little bit of a mini bye there, and then we'll be getting after it for 10 straight weeks, including some primetime games, some late travel, things like that, where we've got to account for whatever we can to try to ease some of the uncomfortable parts of the schedule for our players. And then when we get to that bye, make sure we maximize it, because coming out of that bye, you hope you're ready to make your stretch run to be playing your best football in December.
How aware are you when you check out the opponents that come out, first of all, and then you see how the season or last season unfolded? Do you see, you've got 5 of 7 division opponents on your schedule from last season. You have all 4 championship teams from the division, from the conference championships in there. How much emphasis do you put, or are you aware of those on the schedule?
Well, I can tell you, Tatum, the second we put on that NFC North championship hat at US Bank Stadium, winning the division a year ago, you knew you were going to be playing a first-place schedule. That's how it works. So the type of opponents you're going to have, and just knowing just the type of, the variation of different types of teams, and when, basically who you're going to play, but then you find out where they fit in the schedule. You can already start breaking down some of that tape and making sure you're ready throughout the summer preparing for not only the opener, but can you get out in front of some of that, Thursday preparation for the Eagles game? Can you take a look at week 3 and 4 and just have a feel for what you're going to see, so then you can confirm or change your thoughts on those teams when those early on games get going and you get enough film for a new team, a new staff like the Carolina Panthers week 4. So there's a lot that goes into it, but at the same time, not to go cliche on you, it's very, very important that we focus on making sure we handle our business week 1 at US Bank Stadium.
Very nice. Oh, I really thought you were going to give me the one game at a time.
No. I'm not gonna go all the way there, but it is one game at a time, starting with that first game.
There you go.
But no, what an opportunity though to get to open up. That was one thing I was really looking forward to doing, is getting a chance to open our season again at US Bank Stadium. Just knowing what that felt like a year ago in my first game ever as the head coach of this team. Not that we'll be able to ever replicate that, but as far as our performance in that environment, like I said, second to none in our league.
It's a great way to always start the season, and the regular season finale is a home game against the Packers. I mean, you bookend it really nicely, Coach.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, now that you have the roadmap, I'm sure all the real work begins, all the preparing, and then we look forward to seeing you during OTAs and camp, and really ready to see you guys out there.
Yeah, can't wait. It's been a really good off season so far. Ramping up here with true OTAs here in a couple weeks. Get the rookies in this weekend.
Yep.
Things are moving right along here at our facility, and can't wait to get going.
Very fast. Thanks, Coach. Appreciate your
thank
time.
you.